I've had a lot of friends and family rave about the pork green chili stew that I make in the crock pot, so I put this little video together to show them how to make it. Obviously, you start with green chili. I prefer fresh roasted, but in a pinch, the freezer kind will work just fine. You're going to need some peppers, serrano, jalapeno, whatever you prefer. You're going to need a whole white onion that you're going to dice up really well. Tomatillos, I prefer them out of the can, you'll need 2. A whole potato. Some garlic, either pre-chopped out of the jar or fresh. A couple pounds of pork, I use chops, but you could use a roast. And some spices, cumin, chili powder, cayenne, and a little bit of salt. Start by cutting your vegetables first. Take your peppers, you're going to obviously get rid of the stem, and then dice them up really good so that you've got a nice consistency to your chili. So dice up your jalapenos or serranos, whatever you've got. Move on to your onion. Same type of thing. You're going to dice the whole thing to whatever size dicing you prefer. You'll take your 2 cans of tomatillos, drain them, and then I like to puree these little guys. You can smash them by hand, but I like to puree them in a little blender. Gives them a nice fluid consistency to add to the crock pot. You're going to take your potato, peel it, and dice it up just like you did the rest of the vegetables. You can give it pre-cook it for a minute or 2 in the microwave if you want to get it a little softer ahead of time. About a tablespoon of your chopped garlic, or about 4 or 5 cloves. A couple of pounds of pork. You can use a boneless roast. I prefer just to grab a couple of chops and go for it. You're going to dice them up, or you can throw them in there and shred it later. I prefer them diced about bite size. You're going to add that to the crock pot mixture of all the vegetables. Give it a good stir. And then you add the spices. 2 tablespoons of chili powder, a little more if you want it spicier. About a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of cayenne, and about a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt. Obviously salt to taste. You're going to throw that all in the crock pot, turn it on low, let it do what it does. You can add a little roux at the very end if you want to thicken it up. And then voila, you have a beautiful batch of green chili stew.